Hi friends, today I'm going to show you how to make a recipe for Lindy's famous Get a Husband meatballs. Now I'll have the recipe in the description below, but what you're going to need is a pound of ground pork, a pound of ground beef, breadcrumbs, 2 eggs, salt, pepper, oregano, basil, dried mustard, and milk. You're also going to take a baking sheet and cover it entirely with aluminum foil. Now in a large bowl, you're going to mix together your ground pork and your ground beef. And now you're going to add to that a half a cup of Progresso breadcrumbs. I like to use the Italian flavor. You're also going to add 2 eggs, 1 teaspoon of dried mustard, and if you don't have dried mustard, you can use about a tablespoon of prepared mustard. One teaspoon of pepper, 1 teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of oregano, and a teaspoon of basil, and then 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, half a cup of milk. Now you're going to mix all of that up really well. I usually just use my hands for this part, but I was trying to be nice for the camera. But a good, clean pair of hands is one of the best kitchen tools you can use. But you do what you like best. But I will tell you, you do have to use your hands to roll out the meatballs later. Now, after you've mixed everything well with your spoon, you can take your hands and give it just a double mix to make sure all of those spices are well incorporated into that meat. After everything's been incorporated well, you're going to roll your meatballs out by hand, and these are all about 1.5 inches in diameter. You want to make sure that all of your meatballs are the same size so that they will cook all at the same time. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees and you're going to bake these meatballs for about 30 minutes. Now, while the meatballs are baking, you're going to make your sauce. You're going to need a can of Newman's own Marinara sauce, some inexpensive red wine, and then a tin of anchovies. Trust me on this one. They are delicious. This is a recipe adapted from one that Alton Brown shared, and anything Alton Brown makes is delicious in my book. So even if you have someone who doesn't quite like anchovies, they'll never know. So the first thing you're going to do is open up your little box of wine and get yourself out a pretty little teacup and pour yourself a good heaping helping of red wine into that teacup. And drink up. After you're finished drinking that cup, you're going to open up your jar of marinara sauce and pour it into your pot, and then pour another, about a half cup of red wine. Now here's a little trick. You're going to pour that red wine into your sauce can so that you can get the remnants off the can. Put the lid back on it and give it a good shake. And that's going to get off all the extra leavings inside that can. And it's going to also give that good red wine flavor inside of that sauce. You can make your own sauce from scratch, but this is just an easy way to make it taste extra good. Throw those anchovies in, and then get out a stick blender. If you don't have a stick blender, you can use just a regular blender, but you're going to blend that up well. And like I said, no one will ever know that those anchovies are in here, but honey, let me tell you, it makes this sauce fantastic. Anytime I make these meatballs, there are never any left over. And every kid who comes over, everyone who has ever eaten them just loves them and always wants more. So this is a good dish. Now, after you have mixed that sauce mixture well, just set it on the stove to simmer on low while the meatballs are getting ready. And when your meatballs have cooked for about 30 minutes, check for the internal temperature to be about 165 degrees Fahrenheit. If you don't have a thermometer, you can just cut them in half and make sure that they're done that way. But I always like to have a meat thermometer on hand. And those are ready. Now you're just going to add all of those juicy balls to the sauce. Let those simmer for about 20 more minutes in the sauce, and then cleanup is a snap if you have wrapped your pan in aluminum foil first. You just have to roll it up and throw it away. And then you have a delicious pot of wonderful husband-getting meatballs. I'm telling you, girls, learn how to cook these, and you're going to win your way to any man's heart. You can serve these with a good salad and maybe some buttered bread, and you have just a fantastic meal. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.